Succeeding under pressure. Under pressure. Good morning, everyone. John Henry Soto here. Welcome. It is June 30th, 2021. I'm exactly 13 days away from arriving to Nashville. I only have a few days for this show. This show will end on Friday. And that is all for the 7 a.m. show. I think I did about roughly 150 shows or something like that, which was a great run. Had a lot of fun. What 7 a.m. in Nashville is 6 a.m. And I don't know if I'll be able to do 6 a.m., get up there to keep that, or just get up at 7 a.m. I'm not sure yet exactly what's happening. I might just do 7 a.m., but it'll just air at 8 a.m. here. Maybe I'll get more viewers, right? People will be up. Maybe. I don't know. But yes, we're getting to the end, or getting close to Nashville. Oh, look at this. Hold on. All right. It's live, baby. We have a lot of boxes behind the green screen, and that's got to come down on over the weekend. So, but yes, okay. So, you guys remember that song by Queen, "Under Pressure"? Dun 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 dun. Under pressure. And then Vanilla Ice did the same song. And he's like, it's not the same song. Their song goes dun 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 dun, and my song goes dun 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 dun. You're like, that sounds kind of the same. Vanilla. I actually like Vanilla Ice. I've seen some interviews with him. Pretty cool guy. But anyway, going back to our topic of this evening. By the way, if you like this show, please like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends that Friday's the last day. But you can check out my channel, and there's a lot of other stuff there. And we also have some new stuff coming. I have some new shows. I'll have some new interviews when I get to Nashville. I got some pretty great guests already lined up, so I'm excited about that for my evening show. But I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. I appreciate y'all very much. It's gonna be a wild ride this evening, this morning. Yeah, exactly. Who knows? Did I say PM? I don't remember. Did I say PM? I might have said evening. Good evening, everyone. Did I say good evening? Wow. I could see myself saying that because I just did a show last night, and times are all cuckoo. And I could totally see myself saying, yo, good evening, everybody. Welcome to 7 a.m. But yeah, that's what happens. All right. So today I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about succeeding under pressure. And it was one of those things I wrote in my book that I wrote a while back. And I've always hesitated on saying succeed, like trying to say like succeeded under pressure, like I've succeeded or something. Like I have a lot more to accomplish and a lot more goals that I want to achieve. Um, and thanks for the like. And I want to make it clear to everyone that when I'm doing these shows and anything that I'm doing that sounds like if it comes off as a preaching thing, it's not at all my intention. My intention is to not only motivate others, but to even motivate myself, and this is an affirmation for me every morning when I come up here and I talk about specific things that cross my mind, things that I'm dealing with or struggling with or whatever it is. But I find solutions and I find ways of actually overcoming these obstacles. And I have overcame many obstacles. Thank you, Ethan. He says, preach away. Appreciate it. All these obstacles that I've come across, So it gives me somewhat experience. Also, I'm not a young man. I'm not an old man, but I'm not a young man. I've been around, and I feel like I do have some experience to help others, right? So succeeding under pressure is currently what I'm doing, right? It's not what I'm saying that you should do. I'm actually trying to succeed, and I'm got a lot of pressure right now. I got a house full of boxes. Um, we got moving the kids to another state. There's a lot going on right now, work related stuff. Pamela's starting a new job. Meeting. I have a ton of people that I'm going to connect with that I've met via this, and it's been a lot of stuff going on. Money wise, spending it's moving to another state is not cheap. So that's getting down, getting to the little scary part. But we're going, and that's the thing about pressure, and what I wanted to talk about before I get to some specifics is that it's so easy to be happy when things are going right. When everything is perfect, you're just like, yeah, yeah, and of course you're happy, but as soon as you get a little pressure, then all comes crashing. This is when the pressure hits, that's when you have to start, all right, we're going to do this, and that's when you have to make it a game. That's when you have to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to rise above this problem. I'm not going to let this problem consume me. I'm going to demolish it and play the game, right? So succeeding under pressure is really just that. It's if you're under pressure, you have to keep going. That's the secret. I mean, if there is no secret, that's right out in the open. You have to keep going, especially when things get tough. That's when you really have to test your muster and see when you're gonna be able to get there. So I'm just gonna go over um 8 things on just and in my own viewpoints on them, um on what it actually takes, like the tips for succeeding under pressure, right? And so the number one is take care of your health first. Right? You have to take care of your health, because this is one of those things where I just recently had another awakening, because I'm constantly having awakenings. um, but last week I had a little bit of a back injury, and I did my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday shows, but in the mornings the pain was a little bit subsided a little bit, and was brutal though. I mean, it was brutal. And then finally went Thursday and Friday. I couldn't do shows because I couldn't really get up. I couldn't sit. I couldn't walk. I couldn't stand. I couldn't lay down. It was excruciating. And when you get to these points, something I was telling my wife, I was saying, I'm sort of grateful that this happened, because it does give you another. And I don't want to keep having these. I think this is my last one. I got it. But you start having more realizations about how important it is to take care of your body and take care of your health, because if you want to do something, you got to get your body to do it, right? You can't wish it. You can't pray for it and it's just going to magically appear, right? You have to actually put some effort and work into a plan, into any plan that you want to do, whether it's a plan of expansion, whether it's a plan to salvage your marriage, whether it's a plan to get a new job. You can't pray for it and it's going to arise. You have to, it's praying is fine, but you have to also do. There's action. There's actually things, physical things that you actually have to do with your body. And if your body is not in good shape and it's not well, then you're either going to do things and be always upset, right? You're just always going to be upset. You're going to not be able to do things, right? Or you're going to half-ass things, right? You're not going to really commit to what you're going to do. So these things you have to really look out for. The body. Take care of the body. Take care of yourselves. You want to do things, take care of yourselves. Number 2 is focus on one task at a time. Now I have a bit of a difficulty with this. This actually does sometimes consume me because I feel that I am able to do it. Now it doesn't mean that I should, but I've become really good at doing one task at a time. But sometimes I like to add other things, like maybe smaller projects, and do a couple other things. But I've learned now that when you focus on one project and you do one thing at a time, whether it's whatever it is, whatever, you got a stack of papers you got to deal with, but you got this over there, but when you do one at a time, it makes the whole thing more confrontable. You can confront it better because you're just focusing on this one task. So, like if you have somebody who has a really, really messy house, right? Don't tell them, clean your house. Come on, clean your house. I'll be back in an hour, right? Don't tell them that. Start with something small. Listen, you see that little table right there? Just clean that one table, and then let's talk afterwards. That's it. Your job for today is clean that one table. It makes it very easy to confront one small table for someone or for anyone that has to confront the thing, that one thing, and then they can turn their attentions to the next one and to the next one. As they move along, or as you move along, as I move along, I'm able to confront more things and then stay more on task. Okay. So definitely try to focus on one task at a time. Learn to ignore the negativity. Number three. Now, it's really tough when that negativity is coming from your spouse or a family member or your close, your best friend or something, right? So what do? Well, um, you only have two choices when you're dealing with negative people around you, right? You can disconnect, just don't go around them, don't hang out with them. I've done that with which a lot of people. I've actually just do not hang out with them because they're negative. They're negative in my space. Um, they're destructive. They're critical, right? And it just makes a lot of just makes life hard. So I've disconnected from a ton of people. And I'm at the age right now where I'm really just not interested in being around anyone that says anything that's negative. I just do not care. I do not want to be around it. I don't want my family to be around it. I don't want my good, positive friends to be around it and to suffer the consequences of being around someone negative. So, audit your friends, audit your family members, and then ask yourself, do these people provide value to my life or do they stress me out? If they stress you out, you might want to distance yourself a little bit. Now, you have two choices, what I said earlier, right? You can handle them, make them like you, right? Or disconnect completely, right? Those are your choices. Those are your choices, right? There's nothing in between. You can't, like, well, I'm not going to handle it, but I'm just going to ignore the pain. Well, let me tell you something, man. You ain't ignoring nothing. That stuff is going right in, and that stuff is staying in your space. You may think you're ignoring it, but you're really not. You have to handle, or you have to disconnect. So definitely avoid negative people. Keep your eye on the prize is number four. That's a very important thing. The affirmations that you give yourself on a daily basis when you look in the mirror and you say, okay, my goal is still this. My goal is still this. I am still focusing on this one task, right? And that's what you have to tell yourself on a daily basis. What is that one thing that you're passionate about that you want to achieve? Write it on a piece of paper. Put it on a post-it note on your computer. I have post-it notes down here for all the things I got to do. And then work towards it. Work towards that goal, and every single day, give yourself that affirmation. Some people don't need it because they're so passionate about it and it's so there all the time. But others may not. It may not always be there. Maybe they have a lot of things going on. What is your goal? What is the prize for you? What's going to make you happy? Find out what that thing is, and then give yourself reminders of them. Work on this today. Put it out, post it onto your phone, an alarm on your phone, post-its, things on the refrigerator, magnets, and all the things that are going to trigger that positive, that goal, and is going to reaffirm that you're heading in that direction and that you are on the right direction. And if you start wavering off, find out what took you off. Might be a person, disconnect or handle that, and then go right straight for it. So number 5 is prioritize what's important, not what's urgent. That's interesting. You would think important and urgent may be the same, but sometimes people will make things that are urgent that are not. I get that a lot. People say, well, are you going to call? Are you going to call them? Are you going to call them? Are you going to call them? Or are you going to do this? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to call, but that's not urgent. I know in my estimation, in my reality, it's not as urgent as things that I know that I have to do that are really important that I have to get done. And that important thing might even be just something that has nothing to do with that thing that has to get done. It may be something that's going to give me a little bit more energy. It's going to give me a little bit more mind power, spiritual guidance, whatever it may be. It may be something that I'm focusing on that's going to get me there, as opposed to the thing itself that someone thinks it's urgent. So make sure you prioritize those things of what's important, what's really important. And you make a list, and people say the top of the list, what's the most important thing that you got to get done, that goes on the top, and then just work your way down. If somebody's coming with you that their urgent thing is like for you number 7, you're like, listen, man, I got 6 other things that I got to get, that are more important than that one before I get to that one. So you gotta chill, yo. Number 6 is ask for help. I did a whole show on this, on asking for help. People tend to, you can see it on social media and on these platforms, on Instagram. Everyone is doing incredible. They're posting pictures on vacations and on boats and on drinking coffee, laughing with their friends. No one needs help. We're all good. And I sometimes look at that and I'm like, really? Maybe they are. God bless them if they are. If that's truly who you are and you're truly happy and everything is, and that's exactly what you're portraying, because that is the truth. And there are people who are extremely happy, but there are also people who could use some help. I could use some help. I always ask for help. I'll ask all, whenever I can. I'm like, listen, do you mind? I need a favor. Can you help me with this? And you want to know who you're going to ask, obviously, and of course, it has to be somewhat reasonable. You're not going to ask somebody you just met to help you move, right? But you do want to actually ask for help if you need it. It can be also somebody just reached out to me about they're a yoga instructor and they're starting to do more yoga videos, and they need some advice on videos and cameras and lighting and whatever. So we're meeting, we're not meeting, we're talking over the phone. She's on the West Coast, and she reached out to me and asked me, and she did it because she sees my content, right? Now I went to entrepreneurial school. That is the thing. And I went with her, and I met her there. Only knew her from the class. We only met a couple of days a week for this class. It was about 12 weeks or something like that. And she asked me, we stayed in contact through that. That was about 4 years ago. So it's a bit, it takes some, some getting used to, but once you realize who you can ask and how you can ask and what you're asking for, it really elevates your direction. It really elevates your progress, because now that thing that you were struggling with, you have somebody there who's willing to help you. And I tell that to people: email me if you need help with anything. Email me. And I'll say it again. This is my email. Email me at johnhenrysoto@protonmail.com. If you need something that you feel that I can help you with, videos, questions, or music questions, or where I live right now in Bayonne and where I'm going to live in Nashville, the moving process, whatever you think, being a parent, being a husband, all these things are important. And if you can do that, yeah, sure, ask. It's okay. I'm totally willing to listen and help. And so find those people around you that you can ask too. That's another important thing. All right, number 7, as we're wrapping up here, remember your past successes. Now, this is something that I talk about a lot to my wife because I love her, but I want her to always, she tends to sometimes forget where we were to where we are. And me having been born and raised in the South Bronx during the fires of the 70s and the violence and the crack of the 80s, and having witnessed someone's life being taken from them numerous times through violence in the growing up, I know how precious life is, and I know how the you know the knowing where you came from. People say know where you came from, but it's so much more important than that. It's not just know where you came from, but it's know the small wins. Remember the small wins, because those are the ones that are piling up and getting you to where you want to go. They're creating that foundation, all those small wins. So if you did something last year that was really great, don't forget it. Remember it. Those are your successes. Those are the things that are getting you closer to your ultimate goal, to what we talked about earlier. Keep your eye on the prize, right? Want to get closer to that? Remember your successes and remember your all your achievements as well, yours personally and yours as a family as well, or as a couple, or you know um with your spouse or your partner. And that's what I always tell Pamela. I'm always saying to my wife, I'm saying, listen, remember where we were 3 years ago. Remember 3 years ago we were talking about this and da 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 da, and we talk. Now I remember things like that because my mind is a little freaky that way. But you know you have to hold on to these precious moments. Life is incredible, life is amazing, and life is filled with incredible moments. So take them in. Take them in. I remember when we were talking about trying to have kids, and we were having some issues in that area. Pamela had some physical things, and we got those resolved. And I remember we were going to look to see if we could adopt a baby, because we really wanted to be parents. And we went to go adopt. And I remember telling my wife one day when we were walking down Queens Boulevard in Queens, in Sunnyside, Queens. And I remember telling her, I was like, "Yeah, I mean, we'll adopt. We'll keep working on that process, but just something in me just says that we're gonna have a baby. I don't know. I just keep thinking that. And sure enough, we found treatments, and she got better. And a year later, we welcomed our daughter, and now we have a son. So I remember those moments. I remember them because they now I can look back at them. Over 11 years ago. My daughter is 10, so it must have been 12 years ago that we were talking about that, maybe even more than that. But definitely an important thing to always remember those past successes. All right, number 8, and the last one, treat it like a game. Yes, I talked about this earlier, right? Life's a game, and the more you understand how to play it, the better you can win at life, right? So you have to know how, you have to understand life. You have to understand goals. You have to understand directions of where you're heading towards. You have to understand yourself, those around you. You can do all those things by, whatever your faith is, whatever your philosophy is. If you have a religious philosophy like I do, if you have a powerful religion, of faith, something that you can really use to really then say, I'm going to play this game because I'm all in. Go all in and play the game of life. And make it something that you can look back and say, damn, I cannot believe I did that. And I have so many moments like that where I did things where I look back and I'm like, what was I nuts? But I wanted to play. I wanted to play. I wanted to have some fun. I wanted to be daring. I wanted to enjoy the air in my lungs. Being alive. It's like a wonderful thing. So that's number 8. And make life a game. Enjoy it. Basically, there are things that you have to take somewhat seriously, but don't take too many things seriously. It kind of sucks the fun out of everything. Don't stress out about things that are not that big of a deal. you know you work things out. Make it a game. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Get a cup of tea. Take a sip. Take a deep breath and say, let's play, baby. All right, folks. Want to thank you for tuning in this morning. I think I started the show by saying good evening, everyone. I did a show last night. I was up late last night too. Not too late, but late enough. But I want to thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all very much. I will see you tomorrow, Thursday. I got Thursday and Friday, and then it's over for 7 a.m. I do appreciate all of you here making the time to hang out with me, for all the likes and the views. I appreciate you all very much, and I've had a wonderful time doing this morning show, and it's I've met a lot of great people as well, so it's been a lot of fun. So make today great. Do the things that you love. Take care of yourselves, and as always,